Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Nuvola and 8x8 webinar today. Thanks for joining. I'm just waiting for the attendees to start logging on. Okay, let's get started. We've still got some people joining, but that's great. We're just going to do a little bit of housekeeping initially. So again, thanks everybody for joining our webinar today. I'm sure you're all slightly webinar fatigued, so appreciate you jumping on to probably what feels like many webinars that we've all been subject to over the last couple of years. Hopefully we can start doing more of these face to face. So again, welcome along. Obviously myself, Karen Blackman, Head of TAS here at Nuvola. We've got a number of new partners on, so welcome. We'll be joined today by our friends over at 8x8, so David Green, our Senior Partner Manager, and also Nikola will be talking through some of the exciting things that 8x8 have at the moment, and also doing a webinar, a demonstration for us as well. So we do have a little bit of slightly packed agenda for the hour that we've got. So there will be some housekeeping. You'll have chance to have a Q&A at the end. So everybody will be on mute for the time being. There is a chat window where you can, if you wish, drop in any questions during certainly the demonstration that Nick will be doing later on in 15-20 minutes or so. Or we'll be opening up the forum at the end for any questions. And I think we've already had some thrown into us, which is fantastic, so appreciate that. So just to run through the agenda, I'll be doing a quick introduction as to who Nuvola Distribution are for those of you who are new. And again, thank you to those that have come on today. We're going to be handing over to David Green. David will be running through a bit more of the company strategy with an 8x8, and then the exciting stuff with the XCaaS demo and updates by Nick, Senior Channel Sales Engineer at 8x8. Some of you may or may not know Nick already, but there'll be some great things we'll be showing you today. And then I'll be passing back to myself. I'll just be running through some information around how you begin your 8x8 journey with Nuvola and why partnering with Nuvola will help you drive 8x8 revenue into your business. And then we do have the Q&A at the end. So without further ado, I do just want to run through very briefly around who we are. So we started as an organisation back in 2010 as Nuage Communications. We predominantly were founded on a professional services and services support organisation. So we were offering our service to the partner community. So around the products we had in the portfolio at the time, that was our core business drive. So we've built our business foundations on the services that we provide. And from that, we moved into, we evolved into Nuvola Distribution from our heritage. The core things within the Nuvola Distribution family here is that we have 4 key technology arms, and we are focused on the vendors that we bring on. So we do have 20 vendors in our portfolio. However, that might sound a lot, but actually we've looked at those and they all interlink across the different technology pillars that we have here at Nuvola Distribution, and you'll see that in a slide that I have just following this one. We cover international coverage across 42 different countries, which is very important to some of our partners where you have a further reach outside of the UK. So this means that we can provide smart hands, feet on the street, or obviously we can also help remote support in those countries as well. And we have 450 plus active partners, which is great. Obviously we're growing that, and hopefully those of you that are on board today will understand the value that we bring, and we can look to bring you on board to start pushing and growing your revenues within the 8x8 community. We all have an acronym, we know that. So we are a value-added distributor. There are many distribution organisations that have the ability to sell vendors, but the key thing around what we have here as Nuvola Distribution is we are very focused on those technologies, and underpinning that is our professional services. So everything that we deliver from a vendor perspective has a professional services option available. So some partners may decide to onboard, do all of their own professional services themselves in the fullness of time, or we do have partners that it's not core part of their business, therefore they rely upon us to deliver that value-added professional services for them. So, you know, we're flexible, we can help our partners on board in such a way that enables them to, in the fullness of time, do their own, or, as I mentioned, provide the professional service for them. And that covers across all of the technologies that we have in our portfolio. These are the pillars that we mentioned earlier. So we have the cloud TaaS in there. That's where I sit myself, and obviously the 8x8 portfolio of products sits within there. The intelligent networking solutions, unified comms, the meeting room solutions, which I will touch on at the very end of this session, just because we are seeing more and more people go back into the offices, and they are looking at you know, either expanding on what they have or updating the solutions, the technologies that we have in there. And also because many organizations now are used to using multiple different meeting platforms, whether that's Teams, whether that's Zoom, you know, there are so many out there. So people want the ability to communicate now in a easier fashion. And obviously, as we mentioned, the professional services underpins and provides that support across all of those technology pillars. And these are the different vendors that sit within those different technology areas. And as you can see, looks quite busy. However, they do all link in some way or another. So now, obviously, I will hand across to our friends over at 8x8. This is what you've obviously all been waiting for. So I'm going to pass you across to David. There we go, David. All yours.
Thank you. Hi, good morning, folks. This is David Green. I'm a Channel Account Manager at 8x8. 8x8 is a market-leading pure cloud multi-channel comms provider. I'm going to take 10 minutes this morning just to tell you about our business, our channel program, and how we work with Nuvola. Okay. So some contents to give you a view, an overview of the company. What's the opportunity? It's huge. I'm guessing you guys know this because you've taken the time to jump on the call this morning. I'm going to introduce our proposition, Experience Communications as a Service, or XCaaS. I'm going to talk a little bit about our Microsoft Teams integration. Teams is everywhere, as I'm sure you guys acknowledge. Talk a little bit about our technology that underpins our proposition, how we support our partners. I'll give you a little bit about the 8x8 team. Enablement is absolutely key around how we support our partners and our channel program, and also how we support you in marketing. So our marketing proposition is comprehensive and established. Okay, so who are we? We're a business of about 1,800 people. Just so you know, about 300 of those people are in the UK, and I think that's significant. You will probably experience or know of a bunch of American vendors. We are an American company. American vendors who maybe have satellite sales offices in the UK or in Europe. That is not us. We have a company of 300 plus people that support our partners end to end. So that's from first engagement, pre-sales and marketing, all the way through to billing, collecting money, etc. Okay, we've got 60,000 business customers with over 2 million users. We are truly global. So we have in excess of 16 POPs. So we service 120 countries. We are a 10 times Gartner UCaaS Magic Quadrant leader. That's 10 straight years. 7 straight years on CCaaS as a challenger. And you can see we've got 23 offices around the world. So what's the opportunity? Well, it's huge, in short. So we all know and see and are probably experiencing the hybrid working model. We see numbers that say nearly all companies are considering that. So we see that businesses across all verticals of all sizes are consolidating UC tools, and they want to do that into a single suite. We have a very distinguished play with regards to that because we have a single platform. We're the only player with a single platform for collaboration, UC, and contact center. I will talk in a few moments about the advantages that can bring to you as a partner and to your customers, and indeed their customers. Okay, again, multi-channel pure cloud is being adopted for digitalization and transformation in all markets. And we see that happening very quickly. And finally, 70% of the overall market share is going to digital leaders, and there'll be 8x8 and other names you will recognize. So some numbers, look, the numbers are enormous, and it just tells you how the world looks. We've broken them down here with regards to UCaaS and CCaaS, and there is a lot to play for. We've got 20-25 years of what you would call legacy on-prem solutions to displace, so there's plenty to play for. Okay, what's so important about our proposition? In short, as referenced a moment ago, we're the only single platform player, and that delivers a bunch of productivity and efficiencies for customers. I'll come on to that in a second. Innovation. So we own over 300 patents. That's a nice thing to say. Why is that important? It's important because we own and can control our own roadmap. So in the last couple of years, we've rolled out some really bleeding edge technology with regards to speech analytics as a pure cloud proposition, really easy to use, but more importantly, economic, so much cheaper for customers than previous high capex investment. We're secure and compliant, and we have lots of accreditations to prove that. We see in all markets security absolutely key to customers when they are choosing technology. So we have those boxes ticked, and we can support that with documents and expertise. We're easy to work with. So that is by design, and it's by design because how does a technology vendor reach the market? We do it through partners. We don't do it ourselves. We work with businesses like Nuvola and businesses like you to reach the market. Okay. So I want to introduce XCaaS, which is Experience Communications as a Service. So effectively, what does that deliver? It delivers and improves the employee experience. We need employees to have a good experience so they can be efficient and productive, who in turn can improve the customer experience. How do we do that? Working around from phone through to inbound, outbound video and messaging. It's communications, inbound and outbound, and it's multi-channel. So it's not just voice, it's email, it's web chat, it's through social media. But built into all of that, and this is really key, and this is where we differentiate and add the value into Teams, which I'll speak about in a moment. We have deep business functionality capability for voice. So front desk, you'll see on the right-hand side, that is effectively a route to distribute calls within a business. We support agents, so effectively what would be known as customer service agents that sit at the front of a business, or 8x8 work, which is the back office, so the UC. Real key play around what we offer is integration, so that's third-party apps. We have a bunch of those out the box, and so some of the big names, if we pick someone like Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, we have some focused ones into verticals like Bullhorn for recruitment. We also have significant API capability, so that really can support CRMs that are homegrown and bespoke. Okay, Nick will talk more about the analytics and AI. That sounds a bit dry if I say it, but if he shows it to you, it's going to be much stronger. Okay, what's the power of XCaaS then? It really is, our platform can support a business company-wide. Unified administration, so that's going to be really easy. If you think some businesses are delivering or using services that are different vendors, they're on-prem, you need different access, how do we streamline that? Well, we streamline it because we'll give you one set of admin through a single pane of glass that can support all functions, so UC, contact center, collaboration, and it can do it globally. The integrations I've talked about, so many out of the box, some of the big names, and we can help with customization too. Really deep cross-platform artificial intelligence and analytics. effectively, that allows our customers to scrutinize what is happening in real time within their comms estate with 8x8 and change it if they want to. So they can be very, very reactive to changes in call loading, if they're running campaigns, etc., etc. Really, really flexible. And you know what underpins all of that? Financially backed 5 nines SLA. So you just won't get that through a collection of vendors when they are delivering into a single customer. We've got excellent voice quality. We've won awards for that, and we can share some of those, and the security element as well, really key. Again, accreditations, customers, services are safe with 8x8. Okay, how do we deliver, or what do we deliver? We can cover all employees globally. Okay, so a lobby phone internally, as you may see in a hospitality, so taking inbound calls, all the way up to customer support, which is multi-channel contact center. So this really improves the productivity of agents, so they can communicate obviously in voice and non-voice channels. And in between, you'll see a real breadth. So the front desk piece I referenced before, receptionists, which can control up to 6 calls. I think Nicole referenced that. And then other areas of the business. So, you know, true sort of support for an entire organization. How do we do that? Sorry. These are the licenses we offer. So X1, you'll see local calls are included. So for the UK, that's 01, 2, 3, and 07, so land and mobile. Then as you go up the food chain for X2, you'll see 14 international countries included, all the way up to 48 for X4 through to X8. And then below, we have the functionality that's included. So you see on the left-hand side, this is for a basic user. So for what you would call regular inbound and outbound telephony use, again, all pushing all the way through to reporting on X4. X6 is voice contact center effectively. X8 is multi-channel contact center. So we really break that down. And the element to it, guys, and how it works is effectively it's a car wash. So you, your customers can choose which licenses they want. So it really is a mixture as they go, and they can change those as they go forward. Okay, what underpins that? That's the platform. Nick will reference some of this, and I've touched on this before. As you would expect of a market-leading vendor that has 2 million users, we have a fully redundant mesh network that is global, and the capabilities within that network to support integration that is really easy. We use many PTTs and large names as carriers to deliver our traffic, and we have a deep least cost routing play on that to support our customers appropriately. Okay, let's move on just to Microsoft Teams. Just as an overview, what I would say on this is we add value. It's true value add. So we see Teams everywhere, in small through to large businesses in the private sector, and very heavily into the public sector as well. We have a certified contact center, or we are a certified contact center for Teams. We were one of the first to be registered for that. We can help with and customers to see messaging, eFax, and presence through Teams. We've got integrations that Teams doesn't have, advanced analytics, call recording, and global calling capabilities. So what we are not doing is supporting our partners and going into customers and saying, rip out Teams. We recognize that Teams is the primary collaborator in the global market. What we have is a value add integration. Nick will give you a view on that. Okay, an example of some of our customers. What I would say here is we are winning in all markets from small business up to enterprise, and we are winning in all verticals. And we have had a great time over the last couple of years also in public sector. So if you have public sector customers, or you play into the public sector, please consider 8x8. We have case studies we can share with you and that you can access through our portal. So there's lots to offer there. So let's talk a bit about the support. So what do you get? So obviously you would get support from Karen and the team at Nuvola. In addition to that, you get support from the 8x8 team. So it's not one or the other. and we help you with scoping opportunities. And we do that. We stand next to you. We can stand next to you as as a trusted advisor. We do not tread on your toes where commercials are concerned. That is your play. We can advise you on the market. So we provide battle cards, and we can give you a view of what the market looks like commercially. But you get a wholesale price. You mark it up. You sell it on your paper. Okay. Reference the sales support. We also deliver and help you with the professional services elements of our technology. We think this is really key because our partners want to own that. You can also earn from it. You don't want us doing it because we can't give you any money from that. But if you do it yourself, you can control the costs and the charges. Okay. So just a brief overview on what we offer. Again, resource, people-wise, sales enablement, technical enablement, partner exchange. So that is our portal. That is where you register opportunities. It's where you can download marketing collateral that you can white label, put your name on and push out to your customers. We give you sales support. So a salesperson and pre-sales for every opportunity. We encourage you to take that, or almost insist actually in the early days, so you get a good experience. But the whole idea is to push you as a partner of 8x8 to be self-sufficient, because we understand in the UK that's what wholesale partners in the main want. We will stand next to you if you want us to, but we can really deliver that element of support. Our marketing proposition is comprehensive and established, and of course we can help you with account mapping, selling our product into your existing customers so they don't leave. What does a simple process look like? You register a deal with us. We align some resource. That resource will probably repeat resource, so you get used to working with our salespeople. We'd ask to come on a discovery call so we can help you scope. We have an automated demo which we can use, or we can do a demo in person, whatever fits. We'll support you with quoting, and we'll help you with closing if you want us to do that. Okay. Enablement, just a brief word on enablement. We offer both sales certification and technical certification. You must complete the technical certification to be able to deploy our services, but again, there is a financial incentive for you to do that and also to manage your workflows. And sales certification, we have lots of tracks there over all elements of our all elements of our proposition. And you can do that in a classroom if there's enough of you in one go. In the main, though, people do it self-serve virtually. Okay, this is an overview. We have packs for this, data sheets, etc. I'm not going to dwell on this, but it's just really to share with you what we have in partner enablement, as with our marketing proposition, is established and comprehensive. Okay, the marketing piece, this is really key. We can help you here. We constantly drive campaigns. So we've recently delivered a campaign for the manufacturing vertical. We have finance and retail coming. These are really, really powerful. So broad campaigns that give you messaging, but also give you detail around case studies, so you can prove to your customers and your prospects that 8x8 works in that vertical. Okay. Partner exchange I've touched on. That's how you access us. So you will register opportunities, you can pull marketing material, and you can generally sort of communicate with us on cases, billing, etc., through that area. Okay. Marketing, how do we do it? So we help you with sales enablement, with partner exchange. We can provide you with intent data. This is really, really powerful. So cold calling hasn't gone away. What we want to do is help those people that are doing that cold calling. So we'll give you a view on what your customers and prospects are looking at technology-wise, and we can also help you understand where they are in that buying cycle. Really, really valuable stuff. We operate Excel account mapping days, so that's where we'll sit with you and help you understand maybe where we've won customers that are in the same verticals as you, or customers that look like your customers, or indeed we can do some consultation on, you know, your most important customers and their needs and see if we have a fit. Marketing as a service. This is a new proposition as to how we support our partners, really deep and broad. So there's a lot there for you guys when you're coming on board, if you want that help. What I will say with all of this is available. If you have your own tracks, you have your own partners for all of this, that's great. Hopefully we can fill some gaps for you, but all of this is available from the get-go when you partner with Nuvola and 8x8. Okay, that's my stint. I think there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Appreciate I've gone through a lot there, but that is me. So thank you for listening. Nick, over to you.
Thank you, David. I'm now sharing my screen. Hopefully you guys can see that. Hi everyone, I'm Nick Stanic, Senior Channel Sales Engineer in 8x8, and today I'll be going through three main pieces of the 8x8 product portfolio. We will start with the unified communications. We will also talk about the integration of Microsoft Teams with 8x8, as well as the contact center aspect of the platform. And that involves obviously the agent experience, the supervisory, and some of the administration. I will try and do a very high level overview of this, considering we are on time, and I will try and keep on time with that. So first of all, we're going to start with the unified communications. Now, as David mentioned earlier, we are a software company that sort of encompasses all of the features and functionalities of UC, CC, and integrations and analytics into a single pane of glass, or into a single sort of platform. So first, with the unified communications, this is not the only level of access to the 8x8 service. You will also have a mobile application, a WebRTC client, which is essentially your soft phone within the browser, and you will also have a ability to use handsets, which are supported from 3 different vendors, so Poly, Cisco, and Yealink. There is a big list of supported devices, which you can find on our website, but also happy to talk about those in detail should you have an opportunity in mind for that. From the soft phone perspective, I won't go through all of the functionality, but you'll see that we have presence capability, changing of the CLIs or caller IDs dynamically, which enables our users to sort of change the identity that they are presenting on the other side, whether that be on the internal numbers, external numbers, national or international. We also integrate that presence with Active Directories, with different calendars. You can see here that I'm currently in the meeting, and even though I'm not using the 8x8 platform to jump on a meeting, I still the 8x8 is still reading my calendar, and the name of the event can be incorporated into this status, or I can just say what I want to do with that status. So anyone who's looking for me in the directory will see that I'm already in the meeting. There are also capabilities alongside all of the PBX functionality, contacts, IM, stuff like that. We will also have a receptionist console, which is the latest release from 8x8, released a couple of months ago, and it's called Front Desk. The Front Desk allows us to do standard functionality around the receptionist console, so drag and drop transfers, you know, leaving the note for other receptionists, leaving the away from the desk, or enabling the auto attendant to take over. But Why is it good? It's good because it's also providing with the integration to Microsoft Teams, it's providing a service for both types of users. I'll explain a little bit more when we talk about Microsoft Teams integration, but essentially the receptionist console is providing the service to both 8x8 users and Microsoft Teams users. And if you are using Microsoft Teams, you will know that that is not a feature that's available from Microsoft. PBX functionality is pretty standard. Rather than talking about the functionalities around PBX, just assume that it will have all of the capabilities of a modern PBX. Call groups, ring groups, call queues, pickup groups, auto attendants, all of that, right? We will also include voicemails and call recordings by default with all of the licensing. You can also transcribe all of the voicemails from here and see all of your missed and recent calls. Contact directories are standard. You will also have the capability of Instant Messenger. Instant Messenger comes in two flavors. It can be one-to-one, so you can share your files, you can chat to your colleagues, and you can call them from here or start a video call from here. You can also make this a group chat, which will enable you essentially to do exactly the same thing with multiple people in there. So the collaboration, enabling notifications, but also auditing and searching your previous chats, so you can use it almost as a database, knowledge base of particular topic that you're discussing with the colleagues in that group. We also support virtual meetings that are WebRTC based, so you will also have the capability of inviting up to 500 people on your webinars that are interactive, so up to 500 people that can share their audio, video, and screen sharing. Should that not be enough, you can also upgrade that to a YouTube stream, so you can stream any of the meetings on YouTube by default, and you do not need a separate specific license for that. We also support fax capabilities, but we will talk about that on a probably different webinar. The call recordings, as I said, are standard, included with every license from 30 to 130 days, and they can be extended to up to 10 years. Now, talking about the Teams integration, one thing that I did want to discuss before I show you that live is the 5 pillars that David already talked about. So we had the enterprise telephony, which is essentially the telephony, that the experience and the expertise that 8x8 is bringing from the voice side into the Microsoft Teams platform. We also support all of our integrations. There's 26 different integrations with 8x8, and all of those integrations are working with Microsoft Teams as well. Our global reach also extends the capabilities of Microsoft Teams, or their reach. All of our analytics, which I'll show you in a second, will be available for Microsoft Teams users as well, and of course the contact center that is Teams certified. Now, there are many ways you can integrate with Microsoft Teams. We have chosen a direct routing option, which we believe is the best experience for the customer now, or for the user. The reason why that is, in our opinion, the best way to do this is because the interface doesn't change at all. The interface is still the same. There is no additional training needed. We are providing the phone numbers. We are providing the full backend service to Microsoft Teams in native interface, right? So Essentially, you will have your dial pad, you can make the calls, receive the phone calls, make internal calls, external calls from here. And for the 8x8, 8x8 actually supports all of the backend infrastructure of that. So all of the 8x8 calling plans and capabilities are included in this service. We also added an additional application into Microsoft Teams, and this can be installed by choice, but it also allows you to manage the 8x8 service from the Microsoft Teams interface. So if you are part of the multiple queues, you can change them from here. If you're a supervisor, you can see the 8x8 analytics from here. You will see all of your voicemails that are residing on the 8x8 system. You will also see your faxes. You can send faxes from here and all of your call recordings. Now, the reason the front desk is important, front desk is the next piece that we will integrate into Microsoft Teams and bring it over within these tabs. So you will be able to have a receptionist console within Microsoft Teams interface, serving both 8x8 and Microsoft Teams users, which really is not something that you find very often in the market, if at all. Now, speaking about Teams contact center, our contact center is also cloud-based and is supported by Microsoft Teams. So this is your standard interface for 8x8 contact center, and you will control all of the interactions from here. The interactions can be voice, can be chat, can be social media, can be SMSs, can be email, whatever that might be. So you will essentially have a full omni-channel contact center in one pane of glass, but where you will receive those phone calls is completely up to the customer or up to the user, because they can use either an 8x8 application, which is 8x8 Work, or they can use Microsoft Teams. The interface here is divided into two pieces, into the interaction panel on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, which is a CRM from 8x8. CRM from 8x8 is a sort of lightweight CRM, but is included in every contact center license from 8x8. You can use it to keep your data in here, or alternatively, you can have it integrated. I have a HubSpot integration here that I can show you. So essentially, once you're integrating it with the CRM, the native CRM or the right-hand side of the screen becomes that CRM, while the interaction panel doesn't change. So all of the interactions are still visible from here. All of the call control is possible in here. And in the meantime, you will have your screen pops, your call logging capabilities within your CRM's integration. So you can get screen pops like this, so that the agent is getting all of the information about the customer even before they answer the phone call. Or once you finish the phone call, all of them can be automatically logged alongside the call recording link in here. And this data can be manipulated in different ways depending on the level of customization of the integration that you wish. This all comes as standard out of the box. And as I said, there are 26 different CRMs that we support. But all of them can be customized with additional cost. From the supervisory perspective, we are providing 3 different levels of analytics. First one comes within the CRM capability. So you will have your standard real-time monitoring of the agents, where you will be able to see things like their statuses, some of the stats behind their statuses, behind their interactions, received, accepted, rejected, and all of this criteria is customizable. You can also monitor all of the agents from here very easily. The second piece to that puzzle is the analytics. Analytics are divided sort of into further two categories, the real-time dashboards and historical reports. The real-time dashboards are well, they look like this, and you can essentially customize them to your liking completely. They are very customizable. Everything about them can be changed. The colors, the sizes, the shapes, the different widgets, the criteria that you're viewing in there, the type of information that you're presenting, so on. So when we talk about the true omni-channel, 8x8 supports, as I said, voice on inbound and outbound. On the chat side, we support web chat, SMSs, Facebook and Twitter integrations, WhatsApp integrations, and email. And it's important not just to have everything in the same panel for the agent, but also for the supervisor. So the supervisor here, for example, you can see that we are reporting across multiple medias, and we only have chat, email, and phone here. But if we had additional channels like social media, that would also show in there. So you can, at the glimpse, see the full productivity of the agent or of the particular queue or of the whole contact center across the board. All of these can be edited or downloaded. So if I go and edit one of these, I will show you how the criteria can be selected. We are creating essentially the metrics and the types of presentation, or how the data will be presented. We can select the configurations here. When building this, we had in mind that every supervisor has their own way of reporting, their own criteria of reporting. Every business is unique, so we allow for a lot of the customization here. The same stands for the detailed reports or the historical reports, where you can essentially go and build all of the reports that you may need, save them as custom reports, group them the way you wish, and then either schedule them or share them or download them or view them on a daily basis. Now, these reports can be as complicated as you may need them to be, or as simple as they need to be. So they can be on multiple frequencies with the maximum frequency of 15 minutes, 15-minute reports, but they are still classed as historical. Most important around this is that we also support a full stack of APIs behind the analytics. So all of the information that is presented in 8x8 can be extracted and can be pushed, for example, into Power BI, Microsoft Power BI, or Tableau, or an external CRM, or whatever that might be. There is a third level of reporting, which is customer experience reports, and those are the flip side of the coin, right? So you can also see the same data and the same statistics, but from the other side of your contact center. So how are your customers experiencing the contact center? So if we are looking at the customer journey here, on the left-hand side, we have all of our criteria that we wish to filter down on, and on the right-hand side, we have all of the interactions that have hit our system, regardless of whether they are inbound, outbound, hung up in the IVR, or queued. So I can go and search for a particular behavior in here, for example, a transfer count, and I want to see all of the calls that were transferred 2 times or more. That will provide me with a filtered down selection. I can see straight away the caller number, or I can actually open up the interaction and see a full-blown diagram to the highest level of detail on what the customer went through. So you can see exactly into a millisecond of how long did the IVR take to answer, what script did we go through, what buttons did the customer press in the IVR, all the way to which agents did they speak to, when did the voice recording start, what happened during the call, all the way to the hang up. We have also a little summary on the right hand side so you can see exactly how long they waited in the queue or were on mute or on hold or whatever that might be. You can also go to your call recording from the bottom here, which will take you straight to the call, and you can listen to the whole experience of the customer. Very important for people that are looking to have to give the customer the voice to understand the customer experience in their IVRs, in their contact centers, and also allows you to optimize the IVRs. For example, if we were to go to the next report on the dominant paths report, you will see most used paths and the least used paths in your contact center, and that will allow you to optimize the options. For example, if you have 2,000 interactions in a day and only 2 or none of those were taken into a particular queue or a particular option in your IVR, you can reduce the amount of options in your IVR and therefore make your IVR far more efficient. We also support post-call surveys. So post-call surveys can be created in 8x8. They are voice only, but you will be able to create them and report on them in 2 different ways. You can report on them in the survey summary, which will give you average scores by question, and will also give you the detailed responses, which are giving you a exact rankings or exact responses from the customer, including the voice comments, which can be downloaded or played from here. Finally, we're going to talk about speech analytics and quality management. This is a platform that is included in the highest license from 8x8, and that is X8. So essentially, this can be bolted on to the X6 and X7 licenses, but is included in the highest license. They can also be separated. So if your customers really need just the quality management or just the speech analytics, we could separate those two. Now, what it is, it's a AI platform that allows us to get the context from the phrases that are being used on the interactions between our agents and the customers. In other words, it's recording the phone call, it's transcribing it, taking the phrases that we have preset and categorizing them, but categorizing the interaction based on those phrases. Now, just to explain that further, maybe on an example, we can take any of these categories. These categories have been made in free text. I have made these, you can create your own, and we can take threatening behavior or actually churn and retention, which is always a good sort of obvious example of how this works. So we have created a category for churn and retention, or in other words, we want to know all of the interactions that are relating to churn or a possible churn. In the churn and retention category on the left-hand side, we have created 3 topics, which also are free text, so completely customizable. Agent safe strategies has 11 phrases. Caller cancellation request has 63 phrases, and competitors has 3 phrases. So if we wanted to see what those phrases are, we can actually open that topic and add or remove some of these phrases from here. What's the best way to cancel? What's the I'm calling to discontinue. Can we cancel future payments and things like that. So basically any phrase that can indicate a churn, possible churn of the customer. I can also go into the churn and retention category and have a and have all of the interactions from that category in full detail in here. So essentially, I will see all of the client names that have called, all of the agents that they have spoken to, and we can also search for additional detail about these interactions. So if I click on one of those, I will be able to see the average emotion of the call. I will be able to see additional details in here, as well as the transcript. I want to cancel is a clear indication of the churn phrases that we selected previously. So if I was to click on my tag here, I can see I want to cancel. And should I actually click on that phrase, and I'll show you that on a different interaction here, I can actually click on caller cancellation request, calling to cancel. If I click on that, that will take me straight to the point in the recording where that word was mentioned, so I can hear the context and play it from here. We can also search for other phrases in that transcription. So for compliancy officers, incredibly useful because they can go and search for a particular word in the conversation and know straight away whether that word was mentioned or not, instead of listening to a 2-hour phone call just to be able to either hear or not hear that particular word. We also provide quality management capabilities, so all of these interactions can be evaluated, and they can be evaluated from multiple surveys. We can create multiple surveys in here, multiple types of surveys, so with different answers in here, and all of that will be logged as our interactions and evaluations, so we can track the progress of that agent or of that particular queue or of that particular topic. We also have the capability of recording an agent screen in here. So when the agent is on the call, we will record their screen, and you can use that for training purposes. For example, if your agent is raising a ticket in 3 minutes when everyone else is taking 7 minutes, you can see what they are doing right and what they are doing wrong, and understand how they interact with the customers. We also offer something that was very popular in when the COVID breakout happened, when multiple contact centers were closed or managed remotely. We offer a live monitoring of the screens and all of the interactions that the agent is having with the customer. These are all of your agents. You can see that none of them are currently logged in. However, the moment they log in, you will be able to see their screen in real time and be able to monitor all of their interactions from here. All of this is supported by its own set of reports and its own set of APIs that allow you to extract data in various different ways, manipulate the content and place it in a different platform, or report upon them from the 8x8 platform. Hopefully that was informative. I will close down with that and hand over the screen.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Fabulous. Thanks very much for that, Dave and Nick. As Nick said, I hope you found that extremely informative. What we can do is, if anybody wants any separate sessions with Nuvola and or with Nick that we can do on an individual basis, then we'll absolutely do that. So we'll contact you all anyway after this session and just understand next steps. But just obviously quickly, we don't have a huge amount of time left, but in terms of how you as a partner can look to take 8x8 to market. So there's 2 different purchasing models. I'm sure that you are both or all familiar with the 2 different models that are available. So we as Nuvola can look at both options, both agency and resale or wholesale. Agency would be where the transaction happens with your end customers on 8x8 paper, but you receive the upfront spiff, so the sales incentive commission payment at the beginning, and also the ongoing commissions on the monthly recurring model. Also, what we can offer you, and I believe this is probably where most of our partners are edging more towards, would be the sort of resale wholesale model. So the licenses would be transacted and purchased via Nuvola. You can make some very healthy margins by reselling those onto your end customers, and that also would include the professional services. So during the period of time where, as a partner, you may look to, as David mentioned before, to do your own technical training and certification, to do your own deployments. In between that time, or for the fullness of time, depending on your business model, the professional services wrap can be added to that, and you can then resell that onto your customers, making again very nice healthy margin. And obviously along all of those elements, there is the full partner support, not only just through Nuvola, but as David showed on his slides earlier, both the support from the vendor and Nuvola distribution. So how do you begin your journey with Nuvola and 8x8? So David went through quite a lot of this on his slides, so I've only put a few bullet points here, but we can help fast track the training. Obviously, we're very aware that there's probably opportunities that you guys are sitting there thinking this solution would really refit our end customers. We're aware that obviously we want to help you fast track that sales and technical training should you wish. So part of that, we can help you with the partner exchange portal training as well. Not only is that an offering from, as David mentioned, with 8x8, but we do have our own team here, as well as myself and our account management team, that can get you signed up and get you trained on that partner exchange portal so you can start registering your own opportunities. Dedicated account management from both ourselves and 8x8, as well as our marketing support. And that's, you know, whether that's, as I mentioned, via ourselves or 8x8, it's very joined up. We work together. We don't work in, you know, silos. We work very closely with our vendors and with 8x8. And most importantly, we can look at building attractive commercials for you. So looking at, you know, whatever the deal size or you know, the deal makeup might be, we can also look at how we offer you perhaps additional margin if we look at invoicing annually up front. So there's different ways we can look at this with you. This is more flexible when we look at the wholesale and resale model, because obviously what we're doing is we're invoicing you as the partner, and you can then invoice that onto your customer however you wish. As we touched on earlier, we've got the full professional services wrap, completely with our highly skilled engineers across the complete suite of the 8x8 platform, right from lobby straight through to the contact center, both you know, traditional or full omni-channel. We have our own service desk support, so we can offering different kind of builds of different service support, whether that be you buy service adds, moves and changes, or the ability for us to actually service those tickets on your behalf. Again, we're extremely flexible. We work in a manner that suits your organization and how you want to sell on your service to your customers. We've got a full project coordination team, so we can help you with having conversations with your own customers if you need us to, help with documentation, and as I say, you know, the project coordination that underpins the professional services side of things. Obviously training, site surveys, very important when you're looking at DECT. So the full complete professional services wrap. And as we touched on before, the marketing services, we work on our own with as Nuvola with our partners, or complete in joint conjunction with 8x8 around the Blitz days, helping build campaigns, looking at vertical focuses, end user, even looking at offering you out telemarketing resource. Now, one of the things I briefly mentioned on the slides when I showed you the different technology pillars was around, we touched on the meeting rooms and how organizations are now going back to the offices. Employees are expecting you know, newer technologies, or easier ways to hold their meetings, whether that's internally or with their customers. One of the things that we've put together, and I've only got this one slide on this, is that obviously, you know, a lot of what we do is around the recurring revenue, and given the ability for our resellers to offer the recurring model to their customers rather than the CapEx model. Both options are available, but what we've done is we've looked at building out a meeting room solution that you can actually add to your licenses for as little as £2 per month. That would include a screen, a soundbar, a camera, and this is from the key players in the market. So we're talking about Yealink here, Poly, Ava. So we've put together these bundles ranging from 55-inch screen right through to 86-inch, and in some cases larger. But as I say, you know, adding on an additional £2 per user per month to your license cost could kit out a meeting room solution. So how do the next steps look? I'm hoping you're all sitting there thinking, right, where do I sign? What do I do? How do I go out there and sell this? We do not expect a commitment from our partners. We're not going to commit you to a number of licenses. We're not going to commit you to a number of revenue. The only commitment we ask is your time. So we would expect that we could work on a business plan together and understand how we map out marketing activities, get landing pages to your website, look at some social awareness. That's all we really ask. It is about a partnership. We don't want to behold you to numbers. So, you know, if you are keen to look at this, it is a really straightforward enablement to get you out there and talking about 8x8 and everything that it brings to your customers. We can also look at, as I mentioned earlier, just fast tracking the partner exchange training. So we would open a partner exchange account very quickly, get you on the training courses, and as I mentioned, if you've got opportunities that you're sitting there thinking this really would work for my customer, let's get them registered and let's talk about them together. We have some incentives running off. I've just popped this one in here for now. Again, going back to what I just discussed on the meeting room side, what we're looking to do here is Katrina from marketing will just talk in a moment about the incentives that we had for you as your partner signing to this webinar, and also another little incentive that we've got running. But this one in particular around the meeting room side is if we have any new partners that sign up to 8x8, the first deal that's closed under the wholesale model under a 36-month contract, you'll get the first 3 months of a meeting room solution completely free of charge. And that would include us as Nuvola distribution going out to site serving that room and doing the installation services for you. So that's really, really neat. As I said, there are many new organisations now going back into the office and expecting either a refresh or some huddle spaces that they probably didn't have before with this new meeting room opportunity. And that also supports the 8x8 spaces as well, so their own meeting room space licenses. And the key to all this is partnership. And as I say, it's not a commitment. We just ask for your time so that we can get you up and running and out there talking about 8x8. So we're going to go to Q&A. I think I can see some questions already pop into the chat, so I'm just going to pop myself on mute. Hand over to Katrina in marketing, and we can just look at those questions.
That's great, Karen. Thank you for that. You could probably hear double Karen and double Katrina then, because we're sitting in the same office together. So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending. I'm Katrina. I'm the marketing manager for Nuvola Distribution. And that was a very comprehensive webinar from the guys. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, Nick, for that. We have had a few questions pop in. I'm just going to try and find them now because they are hidden deeply in the webinar. What I would say is, as you may recall or may not, we have promised you all some carbon offsetting from all that carbon dioxide that we've produced with all of our talking this morning. So we will be planting a tree for each of you. We will be in contact with you about your tree. We just felt we would do something that's more in line with the environment and current issues at the moment, rather than giving out vouchers. So, right, I'm looking at the questions. I don't understand the answers, so I'm going to fire it out to the experts, Nick, Dave, and Karen. The first question is, what other integrations are possible that are different from Teams. So that might be a Nick Dave answer there.
Yeah, I'm happy to pick that up.
Shall I repeat that? Did you catch that? Brilliant.
So
Go for it.
what are other integrations available? So essentially, as I said a couple of times during the presentation, we do support multiple integrations, over 26 of them. Just some of them are, HubSpot, Zoho, Salesforce, NetSuite, Dynamics. There's really a long list of those CRMs that are available. You can see all of them on our website, but there are also other integrations that are not CRM based, such as Okta or G Suite or Office 365, for example. So really a huge range of integrations there. All of them can be seen on our website.
So Nick, it sounds like maybe you'd like a channel partner to come to you with an unknown integration, something to get your teeth into. Another question here, what call recording options do you have? Not quite sure
call
what
recording
call
options
do you have?
are sort of twofold. So the call recording options are included into every license. X1 and X2 will allow for 30 days of call recording by default, while the X4 and above will allow for 130 days of hot storage or hot call recording storage. All of them can be extended up to 10 years of call recording retention, depending on what the needs of the customers are or the partner's needs. So all of them are kept in public cloud, so are very flexible, and it does not matter the amount of calls or the amount of data that you are recording, as long as it's within those 30 days of the retention.
Okay, another question. What is 8x8's position on PCI DSS compliance? More
Sure.
acronyms.
Yeah, PCI DSS or payment, sort of taking payments compliancy is 8x8 is fully PCI DSS compliant in its contact center portion of the product. We do support multiple ways of being compliant. So it's up to the client to stay compliant and keep the compliancy up, but 8x8 provides a product that is that can be made compliant in various different ways. First of all, can be manually start and stop of the call recording when the agent is taking the credit card details from the customer, which is obviously the least secure way. There is also an API from 8x8 that allows us to automatically start and stop the call recording based on the agent entering the payment gateway and submitting the payment. And the third way, or the Secure Pay, 8x8 Secure Pay, is a complete outsource of PCI DSS responsibilities with full-blown DTMF suppression. So really a wide range of options there, but yeah, all depends on the industry, the customer, and the compliancy that they have to adhere to.
Thank you, Nick. I'm aware we're running over time and you've been extremely patient. So thanks for joining the webinar. I'm going to hand back to Karen in a moment just to wrap up. Just want to remind you all that you've earned yourself a tree. And actually, we also have another incentive, equally exciting, as we have two £150 dine out vouchers, complimentary of 8x8. And that's an incentive for any reseller today, we know who you are, that signs up to Nuvola and transacts an 8x8 deal by the end of the quarter. So by the end of the 31st of March, you could be having a slap up meal for £150 on 8x8 and Nuvola. So once again, thanks. Karen, I'm going to hand back to you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Katrina. And yeah, thank you ever so much, guys. We are over by 9 minutes. Really, really appreciate your time. I hope you found that informative. We'll be in touch. If you have any questions, please do give us a call in the meantime. But again, thank you very much for joining today. And thanks to our panelists. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Katrina.
Thank you, guys.